Good day, friends, and this is one that's going to get the keyboard warriors fingers flexing, because when I'm doing something like this guitar, it always does get people typing away going, what am I seeing or hearing things right? So I'm going to show you what it is, and I'm going to go straight in at the deep end. I'm going to go, there you go, Squier Affinity with absolutely hideous tuners on it, and it's a Strat. And it's got two cracks in the body there and there next to the neck, but it's stable. And yes, it's coming for a refret. And I can already hear you saying, whoever owns that ain't right in the head. Paying £150+ or whatever for a refret when you can buy a new neck for cheaper. And yes, you can. But obviously the guy that owns this guitar, they see my videos, decided no matter what, I don't want a new neck. I want that man there to refret that neck for me, because I trust that man, because he's really good at what he does and I like him. And so without even knowing the guy, he has shipped this guitar to me from, I'm not quite sure yet, I think it's Grantham. And I got it out of the box, I looked at it and I says, are you sure you want me to refret this? Because you could buy a new neck cheaper. He says, yeah, I want you to refret it. I says, you do know there's two cracks in the body? I says, yeah, I know there's two cracks in the body. And I says, you do know that it's cheaper to buy a new neck and replace it? He says, yeah, I know it's cheaper to do that. But he's decided he wants me to refret it. So what exactly does this guitar need? Well, frets don't look that bad, a little bit low, a little bit weeder, but he wants bigger frets. I've already gone and ordered the frets from Guitars and Woods out in Portugal there. As you can see, also needs a new nut. There's some tin foil under that first string on that nut there, or I say first string, sixth string. So we're going to need that, so I'm going to put a replacement nut on there. It has said its preference is bone, so if I've got a bone that fits that slot, which I should have, we'll put a new bone nut on there. I'll carve that. What else? There's some cracking in the paint here and there, but nothing major. It doesn't look to be anything special, but it doesn't look to be anything shite either, so you know. Now there are two cracks, one either side of the neck, and they are through the paint, I believe. I don't know. There's no need to touch them. It's not going to compromise the strength of the guitar or anything. I've already looked at that. There are cracks here, up there. I more or less know it goes through the wood, especially this one, this bottom one here. There's no way I'm going to open that enough to get any glue in there, so I'm going to leave it. It's not going to compromise anything. I do apologise for saying the word poop. Spelled S-H-I-T. I've not normally one for swearing lately, but one just did slip in there. Never mind, we can get around that. So, what else can I tell you about the guitar? Well, it's Squier Affinity Strat. You know, we all know what they are. We all know they're not expensive. Crafted in China. The most hidden, the tuners I don't even want to touch. Skull and crossbones. But they are, my goodness, they are Goto tuners. Why would you want skull and crossbones? I have absolutely no idea, but each to their own. It's not for me. The guy has said, if any dings or knocks in it, don't worry about it, it'll add to the guitar. Now I know for a fact he got this guitar for nothing. It was a gift. That's why he is spending the money. End of the day, it is my job to get his guitar playing as good as I possibly can. And yes, we know it's a Squier Affinity. So what? There's no reason why this won't play as good as a Fender when I've done with it. Lovely meaty neck on there. Loads of rosewood. Absolutely beautiful. End of the day, if the truss rod works and that neck is straight or can be straightened with quids in there, it is so worth spending the money getting a refret on something you love. End of the day, your frets are going to last you a minimum of 20 years. Now if you spend £200 on it, so what? £10 a year. I will give this guitar my best attention, as I always do, no matter what the guitar is. Yeah, wonderful. End of the day, it's all about how it plays, and you know me, the most important part of the guitar is the neck. If the neck can be straightened, the truss rod works, it means the frets can then be levelled, and that's it. That's all you need from a guitar. If the neck's not right, the guitar will never be right. If the neck and the frets aren't right, the guitar will never be right. When you're building a guitar, you should spend most care on the neck, because if the body's a little bit wrong, so what, you can sort it out. Pickups you can change, electrics you can change, tuners you can change, whatever, but the neck has to be absolutely 100% bang on. It's why I specialise in frets and necks. Not because it's where the money is, because it's where the money isn't. Because pound for pound, when I'm doing a refret, you can guarantee I'm earning about 10 quid an hour, where someone of my skill, knowledge and someone of my calibre should be charging £30 an hour. So, but I love it. I love what I do with guitar. So I'm going to crack on with this. I'll be removing the neck completely, taking off the horrible tuners, removing the nut, and we'll be looking at getting these frets removed, and I will be onto Guitars and Woods and asking them where my fret wire is, because I ordered it on the 7th, it's now the 15th, so that should be here by now, so it looks like that may have got lost in the post. Anyway, whatever, I'm in no rush to get this done. I just wanted to do this introductory video. Like I say, I'll do some bits and bobs on it, and I can get cracking with the main portion of the work once the fret wire has arrived. Right, so just been talking with the owner of this guitar and I found out that these tuners on here, well, they work backwards, and there's only one reason for that, is that they came off a reverse headstock guitar, another guitar, and it was a Kramer reverse headstock. So you turn the tuners one way and it's how tight on the string, it loosens it. So it works back asswards, as people say in the, I don't know what they say, I don't know who says it. But they do work backwards, wrong way around. So I would recommend to the owner that we replace these tuners with something else. Now I've taken my strings off, after checking the intonation, which was fine. I've taken my strings off. Stuck them straight to the bin because they were grimy and horrible. I'm going to remove the neck. Right, in fact I'm going to remove the neck right now. I'll get myself a nice big fat screwdriver. I'm going to remove the neck, we're going to get them tuners off. And we're going to bag everything up. Then that's it. I've just got to wait until the thingies arrive, the fret wire, because it's not arrived, and I ordered it 8 days ago. I ordered it on the 7th, it's 15th today, and it's not arrived. It's normally arrived by now. So I've got in touch with Guitars and Woods, emailed them asking what's gone off. We've said we've shipped it, so just stuck in post somewhere. It don't normally take as long though. So this guitar, once I've got the neck removed, I'll put all the bits in a bag. We'll put the bits, the bag of bits then in the guitar case this came in. This neck is going to need shimming when I put it back on, because I've seen the action's really low at the bridge area. So it's going to need a shim in it anyway, because the saddles were far too low. That is not a problem, sticking a shim in there. Fender do it all the time, which says to me that their manufacturing process has never been absolutely right. Well, I say Fender, it's Squier, but you know what I mean. Now, regarding these cracks in this wood, if I can get anything in there like a feeler gauge, just to open them up an nth, a thousandth of an inch even, a couple of thousandths of an inch, just to get some super glue drops in there, because I'm not going to get no Type Bond in there because it's too thick and it won't run in, even if I mix it with water. But I get some super thin super glue down here. It should make a difference, it should hold it all together. Neck, how tight is that neck? Yeah, absolutely tight. There you go, the neck is off. So the body can go away. I'm going to need the bracket and the 4 screws to stick this on a piece of 13mm MDF. We'll bolt this onto for when we get all the levelling done and that. I'm going to remove a nut slightly. Well, slightly. I'm going to remove a nut shortly, should I say. Get these tuners off, and then I've just got to wait for the fret wire to get in. And this is really as much as I can do right now, apart from taking the frets out. I'm not going to take the frets out because the fret wire's not here, and I'm not doing this guitar today anyway. So this one's on hold till the fret wire arrives, until I have time to do it. It will be sometime next week, so stay tuned. Right, welcome back, fret friends, and without further ado, let's nip on to what we're going to do about refretting this neck here. Now you can see I've more or less, well, I've removed the frets. I've more or less got the board prepped for the new frets, but there are a couple of areas I need to fill. I think I got two chips there, one there. There's a divot in there, which I'm also going to fill in. I'm going to fill in with some rosewood dust, some super glue, and once I've got the bits filled, I'm going to obviously sand it down, smooth it all off. Now when it comes to these divots here, that one there and this one here, quite a deep chip there, I'm going to go in with some 0.5mm PTFE, it's like a plastic sheet, and we'll just slide that in there so we don't get glue into. There you go, it fits in absolutely beautiful, it's really tight. And when we put some dust in there, blah blah blah, the super glue will not go inside the slot. I've already cut the slots using my fret cutting saw. The kerf on this or the width of the cut is exactly 0.5 millimetre. Fret wire I'll be using is Hosco medium jumbo. 6 strips here, it's enough for 24 frets here. I've got 22 frets on this, so I've got 2 to piddle about with. Now the width on this is basically modern fender size. It's 2.68, just about 2.7 millimetres wide, and I do believe this is 1.2 millimetres high. If it all going well, we won't have to do much levelling, so we're going to retain that height. I'd imagine the height after all these frets are in will be at least, it's going to be at the very least 1.1 millimetre, which somewhere down the line, 10, 15 years down the line or whatever, we've got room for another fret level. That'll be good. I have been across with a radius gauge. I determined that this is more or less a 9.5 inch radius, panning into, it's a little bit tighter down here for some reason, or getting towards, I don't know, about 9, just dropping off at the edges here. So what I've decided I'm going to do is my fret calls, these gubbins here, we're going with fret press. I'm going to do a double, what I call a double press, and I do that on most of my refrets lately. And first I'm going to press in with a 7.25 inch radius to get the ends in. I'm going to over radius the wire, we'll get the ends pressed in. Once that's done, I'm going to swap the coil for a 9.5 mil, and then we're going to press them in flat. So we'll have the ends in, and then we're going to flatten with the 9.5. That will give us, basically everything's going to be in nice and tight. When it comes to finishing off and levelling, I will just go with a level beam. So we might even have a very, very slight, what's the word? I can't remember. But what I aim to do is I'm going to get it 9.5 all the way across. Even though we're pressing a little here, we might have to move a little bit more from the top. I'm not going to remove too much. It ain't going to make that much difference. It's only a tiny bit on this edge where it's dropping inside a little bit. So that's explained what I'm going to do there. Regarding the tuners that I mentioned, I managed to persuade the owner to replace them, and we replaced them with, we went and bought some from Vanson Guitars. Now I know these are made at the same place as a Wilkinson factory, and I know the Wilkinson factory are the same place in Korea that also makes Goto hardware. Beautiful tuners, and I believe they are a 19:1 gear ratio. They're super smooth, and they're beautiful. And they come in at £14.90 delivered. So I might make 10 pence on them by charging them 15 quid. You get all the screws in that with them. They fit well, so we're going to be sticking them on there. The owner has decided he wants a bone nut, not the Cyclovac original fender gear, so I buy these in bulk. I've got a bone nut pre-cut, but not, obviously it doesn't fit in the slot because it's too wide. So what I'm going to have to do is, if I had a belt sander, I'd slip it on there and thin it, but I ain't got that. So I will put a piece of sandpaper on an incredibly flat surface, and I will rub this until it's thin enough. I'll use probably use something like, I'll use some 240 grit, I think. And that should be good. Shouldn't need a lot of work. So we've got the nut, we've got the new tuners, we have the fret wire. So like I say, what remains to be done now before I get the new frets in is I'm going to fill in these chips. And like I say, we take a piece of the PTFE. I've just bought a brand new sheet of this, and we'll stick one in there. Beautiful, really, really nice and tight. I have another piece here, and again I'll show you that chip next to my finger there, look, you see it? Quite a deep one, and we'll just stick some of this PTFE in there, right in the slot. I've already checked that these slots are deep enough, absolutely deep enough. And there you go, that sits in there, and that is really, really nice and tight. So I have those two major chipped areas, one behind my finger there, and one in front of my finger just there. You can see there if you want to zoom in, blah 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 blah. The back of the neck's fine. I have just cleaned this. I'm also going, before I put the new tuners in, you'll see there are a lot of holes here, and none of them line up with where I need them to line up. So what I am going to do is I'm going to fill these, and what I'm going to fill them with is I will take some Tite Bond, drop a little squirt in there. I will snip some cocktail sticks, and what we'll do is we'll leave them sticking slightly proud. We'll get them glued in, and what I'll do is I'll go across with a really sharp chisel. We'll get them nipped off, and what we'll do is I'll lightly sand just this area. If there's anything that sinks in, I might just get a little bit of super glue or a little tiny bit of epoxy and just daub each top with these. Then I'll sand it flat. We'll have a perfectly nice flat surface for making new holes for the new tuners. There are a couple of nicks on here anyway. The neck feels fine. The wood is more or less bone dry because I've just gone across it with some Zippo lighter fluid, which is basically a naphtha replacement. You don't get naphtha over here in England, you have to buy Zippo lighter fluid. I've just bought 4 cans of it for, I think it was £9 delivered, really cheap. So I've got plenty of that, it's going to last me. So there you go, lovely grain on this rosewood. I like these Affinity necks because they have a nice fat piece of rosewood on there. They're very solid necks. Don't knock them just because it's an Affinity. I hear a lot of people knocking Affinities all the time, and I can already hear the people saying, why is this guy paying all this money to have a Squier neck refretted? Is it not cheaper to buy a new neck? Well, it is cheaper to buy a new neck, but in my experience, you go and buy a new neck, you've still got to get fret level. That's going to be between 1800 quid. And at the end of the day, this guitar was free to the owner, and he wants it refretting. You're not going to argue with that. This is not the first Squier I've refretted. I think this is now the 3rd in a year. They're good necks. Don't knock them. Stop knocking Squiers. Just because they ain't got fender on their stock, so what? And just because it costs nothing, so what? And the guy's going out is going to spend 200 quid on some new tuners and a refret. So what? He's going to end up with a really nice guitar with a superb neck. And end of the day, that is what it is all about. You know me, I'm a fret and neck specialist. It's all about the neck. If the neck's right, anything else can be got right. As long as the truss rod works, the neck is straight or can be got straight, and the truss rod can be got working, then we can work with it. But if those two things are not right, if the neck is not straight and the truss rod is not working, the guitar will never be any good. You might get it playable, but you'll never get it right. So it's all about a straight neck with a working truss rod first and foremost. Then it's about the frets, then it's about everything else. Everything else beyond the neck can be changed, altered, replaced, whatever. But if the neck's not right, your guitar's never going to be right. So that's it, it's where I am with this. I'm going to put little things back in their little boxes. I've got fret wire here, like I say. I'm going to radius it to round about 7 1/4, and then so it'll be like that. And when we press it in, we'll be flattening it out. I've got my fret bending tool here. I'm going to go and sharpen my fret cutters. Good thing about this as well, being a Strat, I don't have to put it on my jig, and I also do not have to cut off any nibs here to go over binding. Not nibs, but little tangs. I don't have to cut any tang out to get it over the binding. Here's my fret bending machine. You've seen it before. Bought this from Canada a few years ago. I think it were nigh on 50-60 quid, 65 quid delivered. I've not set the radius on this yet, but you just get your wire in there, and all you do is you just turn it around like so, blah 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 blah. And what I do is I tend to get it in that way, then I go the opposite way. So I'll put the other end in I've just pulled out. So it basically gives us a nice uniform bend, and there you go. I'll probably need to tighten that radius up a little bit more yet. I think that's round about, looks like it to be around about 10 to me, maybe a bit less, I don't know. There it is, look, it's just about a 10 there. In fact, it's 9.5 exactly. I'm going to tighten that up, get it to about 7 1/4. I'll get the frets all cut to size. I will stick them in my little fret holding block, which I made. Just a piece of 4x2 is it, with some holes drilled in it and some numbers on there, and then we'll know which fret is going where. So I'm going to crack on with that now. I don't really think I'm going to come back and show me filling in these. You've all seen me filling in chips on guitar necks before. You can always rewind, go back in some of my videos and go and have a look at that. Maybe I will start doing instructional videos showing one particular job on a neck. I can show you exactly. I can take a neck, most probably something like this, a Fender or a Squier neck, and what I'll do is before I get to this stage, I'll show you stripping it, I'll show you how to remove frets, then I'll show you how to cut the new slots and to fix all the chipped areas, then I'll show you a refretting stage. So we'll do it in sections. It's not something I could do right now because I'm too busy, but once I have some spare time I think I will do that. So don't know what it's going to be like next time you see this. Maybe I'll just be ready to put my new frets in. Maybe we'll go over to the fret press over there and I'll show you how I press a couple of them in. That will entail me taping up the fingerboard, making everything all nice. The fret slots are wide enough anyway, but I might still go with a V-shaped file just to flare these slots open just a little bit so the fret's going to go straight in. You can't really go anywhere else. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap up this video. Just before I do go, I'm just going to show you my big mug of pond slime. This is, me and my wife have been into juicing for years, and this is good, it's energising. I don't know what's in it. I know it's got lemon in it because I always like that bit of tang just to make whatever's in there palatable, because sometimes you get some wheatgrass in there. I know it's got cucumber in it. I don't know if it's got any wheatgrass in it. Sometimes it can be quite bitter and quite nasty tasting. It does look like pond slime, look. But it's delicious. It's a gubbins, very energising, give you energy that. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this little bit of a video up. I've just prattled on for 12 minutes there. I don't know how much more I've got prior to this to stick on to, but like I say, stay tuned. I'll come back and show you where we are pretty soon. Right, I'm just back briefly, and I've got some music playing. I'm not going to get done for copyright for this, because this is it's a friend of mine, a good Christian brother. He's just released an album. I don't even know what the album's called. And the guy's name is James Christopher Mills. He's amazing. He's got a great heart for God. He came to faith about 5 years ago, and he's brilliant. So check that out. Go and check him out on YouTube if you got a minute. James Christopher Mills. But I just want to show you my neck. It's all now prepped, ready for new frets. I've filled in the holes, the cracks, or the chips, should I say. And this deep groove that was in that part there, I've filled that in. I've cut the slots. I've just given it a good wipe with naphtha, clean it all up, and we are now ready for the frets. So I'm going to crack on with getting the frets in. Frets are all cut to size. I'm going to move over to the fretting table with the fret press over there. I'm going to get that set up, and I might come and show you a couple of frets going in yet, so don't go away. Good stuff. And I've decided I'm going to wrap up this part of the video shortly. I have the neck taped up, ready for the new frets, just so we stop getting glue run out down the edge of the neck there. We're not going to get any at all. It's not going to be anything important. The neck is absolutely ready for the new frets, all cleaned up, naphthaed, the slots are clean, been recut with my 0.5mm kerf fretting file. And I've also taped up, what I'm going to do before refret is I'm going to taped up the back there, all ready, sectioned off, all ready to glue, dowel and glue these holes up. Now I don't have to do it, maybe I should do a refret first, I don't know. I'm not going to do a refret today. It's Saturday afternoon, I have got an appointment later, I have to be somewhere, so I'm not going to start it now, I'm not going to rush it. I think I'll get these holes all finished up. Once they're finished up, I'll snip off the ends, get it sanded down, chiseled out, sanded down, and that'll be ready for the new tuners. Then I think I will get the refret done. We'll probably be looking at that on Monday. Everyone knows I don't do any work on Sundays. I only work on my own guitars on Sundays. Really good. So yeah, all prepped, ready to go. So right here, right now, I'm going to end this part of the video. I also included, you know, you've already seen it, I did a special appraisal of the guitar that I sent to the owner of this guitar before I started working on it, to let him know my thoughts and feelings. I'm going to leave that in the whole video. I'm going to include it. Oh, something else I filled in off camera what you didn't see was a little nick I got there with the saw. I filled that in. It's got a little black line there. It's all filled in with dust and glued in now. Yeah, but I'm going to include that first part, my appraisal of the guitar. And once the owner had seen it, we discussed a couple of things, a couple of issues, and he commissioned the work, so I've included that as well. So this is now the Squier Affinity Stratocaster refret. This is the end of part 1 of the video. I don't quite know how long it is. I think it, don't know, just under 20 minutes is it? I'm not sure, so we'll find out later. But I'm going to get this part of the video all glued together, or these little snippets all glued together, and I'm going to upload part 1 of this series. So be sure to come back to see part 2, or I'll see you back in part 2, where I will be, this will be done. I'll have that all filled in with cocktail sticks, glue, whatever. We'll get that all smart and sanded off, and then we can start getting these frets in. Should be a pretty straightforward job, but you never know, do you? Sometimes they look like they're going to be, then they're not. I do know the truss rod is working fine, and I know the fret slots are ready for the new frets. So, I'm not expecting any problems. So, are there going to be any problems? Who knows? Why don't you come back in part 2 and find out? So, do exactly that. Be good, have a good weekend, back soon.